being said, I will jump over to Kevin Keeler, once again, Smith Group BIM technologist.
All right.
Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate that.
Thanks
I'm
for
gonna just
coming in.
do a share screen here with you. So real quick, just a little AU style. Who am I? So Kevin Keeler, BIM technologist with Smith Group, BS in civil engineering, focus on structural. Was a practitioner for 7 years, went to consultant side of the thing, and got brought back to Smith Group as a BIM technologist, focusing mostly on BIM workflows and 3D coordination specialty. So this is one of my favorite topics, especially from the design firm, because this is something I always hear, right? Navisworks, that's a GC tool. Why would we want to talk about 3D coordination and Navisworks in a design environment? So I ask them, well, why are we waiting to coordinate, right? Why wait to coordinate? My design firm's process and adoption lessons learned here is what I'm going to share with you guys. So easily, we all live in the environment, the design environment, right? So we're day to day in our authoring tools. These are producing 3D models, producing our drawings. Very simple workflow, very traditional workflow with Navis. It's an export out with NWC combined into a federated model, very traditional. From that standpoint, what are we doing with the federated model at the design level? Well, we're doing what the rest of the guys are going to tell you they do as well. Visual walk inspections, we walk the floors, we walk the ceiling sandwiches, we use automated clash detection and review markup. And it's all well and good, and we hit a roadblock from the design firm because we're a design firm, not the GC. And what happened was we realized just doing this wasn't enough to connect to our users, because the users are living in the design environment. They're not necessarily living in the 3D coordination environment. So we kind of really hit a roadblock on how to get the coordination results we were finding to the people that need to edit the models. Once we upload to the NWD to BIM 360, it opened up a whole new environment and solved our problem. And that is the connection with BIM 360 issues and Navisworks. So there's a direct plugin to Navisworks, if you're a Navisworks user, that allows you to create, view, and manage all of your BIM 360 issues out of your Navisworks model. And what is great about this is all of my authoring software users were BIM 360 users, right? So what we can do now is we do the reviews in Navisworks. We do all of the legwork, all of the review in the program that is meant to, but then we take all of the results and migrate them over to BIM 360, where all of my authoring software users love to live. So now we are talking their language, right? And from there, we can take that into team meetings. This is pre-COVID meeting picture. Nobody yell at my firm about it. But you can take it to a team meeting, let the models drive the coordination conversation. And ultimately, what are we trying to do? We're trying to find the coordination elements to fix the authored software and send the drawings out more coordinated. Now, in a design firm world, what we have to think about is that our world is different than what we're going to use these tools at from the GC. So along the way, this has been about a 5-year journey of adoption at the design firm, whose traditionally focus is just to make design intent documentation, using a model to do so. With BIM, we're supposed to be more coordinated. The realization is we weren't always checking and coordinating ourselves. So we are now employing Navisworks and the practices that the GC teams utilize Navisworks for to do that. So if you are a design firm, I'm going to share 5 years of exploration with you and a couple things to help you along the way. And the first and foremost is that we are using the same tools, but a very different mindset than the rest of the folks on this call are going to explain to you. And you have to understand that if you just apply a GC or a VDC mentality at the design level, it's not going to go very well. I promise you that. So different model, same tools, different mindset. What do I mean by that? Our models at a design level have a completely different requirement and a completely different purpose than the GC pre-construction models do. We have to take into consideration LOD differences. We have to take into consideration spec items, not modeled items, And how do you coordinate in that environment when just running 100 zero clash results and fixing all of them isn't going to really work for a design team? So what do I mean? Again, like I said, we hit a roadblock in our exploration to bring in 3D coordination because I was trying to apply the VDC mentality of running clashes and giving my design team hundreds and hundreds of clashes and saying, hey, you have to fix all these in your model. The reality of it is, in a design intent modeling LOD, not every clash is something we're going to have to fix. So what we decided is to take, instead of giving hundreds of clashes, giving pinpointed action items through BIM 360 is much more effective. And also a big one we learned, not all of your BIM users need to be Navis users. We need to make the results accessible. And when I say we had an aha moment with BIM 360 Issues app connecting the two worlds, it was a huge step in the progress, because now my users do not have to need Navis to view the results, but they can still take the results and work with them. And lastly, this is a big one because I know all of the design firms out there, we have the pretty picture mentality. We want to see the full rendered 3D models. And I always am having this conversation with my designers to let them know that Navisworks isn't pretty on purpose. It's not meant to be an Enscape or a Lumion rendered 3D viewer. It's meant to be a system to system coordination. And we want it to look very different system to system so that things stand out to us as a review software and not as a pretty picture software. And I have to explain that a lot to folks in the design forum, just because that's the environment they're used to living in. So just wanted to go quick here. I'm not going to use my whole time. I'll catch up on the chat, but I wanted to share a journey with you from a design environment and let you guys know that Navisworks and 3D coordination is not something for after the drawings go out the door and let the rest of the guys do their coordination. Make sure you're coordinating your 3D models. Better models mean better drawings, mean less RFIs along the way. It's a whole life cycle.
You got it right. The good old garbage in, garbage it out motto. With that, I do have a question for you, Kevin. Maybe you can elaborate it. There's some chat within the panel there. What would you suggest for someone that wants to do coordination within Revit in this way? You know, I mean, I can say, you know, and maybe a preface to that we at Smith Group use Enscape quite a bit for, you know, walkthroughs and things like that, just to kind of see visually obvious clashes, right? But maybe could you talk to how one could coordinate within Revit, or maybe some of the limitations of why you wouldn't clash within Revit?
Obviously, Revit is our 3D authoring software. There's plenty of ways to view in 3D, but as all of you Revit users know, it can be laggy. You'll get a lot of buffering. So what we employ is other tools that are lightweight 3D viewers, such as Navisworks or, like Dana mentioned, Enscape. And so the design or the setup we have is our users do work in Revit and do day-to-day coordination in Enscape, which is a direct connection to their Revit model. If they make a change in Revit, it automatically makes the change in the 3D viewer. And then we do a quality control review, like a high-level VDC review using the Navisworks workflow. And so I think a combination of the both allows our models and then ultimately our documents to be more coordinated and more flushed out than they ever have been in the past. We have
what would you say are the advantages of that? I mean, obviously we're seeing, you know, during construction, a lot less of RFIs, right? So the construction phase is being cut down in time, money, etc. But maybe what are some others?
So the reality of it is, ultimately the design firms still produce documents, and there's still ways to make the documents look correct without having the model correct. And I'm sure our VDC folks on the call will tell you about plenty of models that had a good drawing set, but didn't really work. Our goal is to eliminate that fact from our work. So we are checking ourselves. And the main goal is just that, is to reduce RFIs, reduce time. Most project teams get off of the project It goes to construction, and the team is much more reduced. Questions and problems are a lot harder to answer in a CA world versus in a design world when the whole team's engaged and you're really thinking of it. If we can catch these problems now, and especially, God forbid, an unbuildable condition we build, then we're going to save a lot of time in the long run for everyone.
Absolutely.
Kevin's Kool-Aid, I'm branding that from the chat, guy.
Yeah,
It's a real thing. I promise you. I'm not drinking the purple Kool-Aid yet. It's really happening out there. I know it's a foreign world to be talking about 3D coordination in the design forum, but you build 3D models, and the whole idea of BIM is to be better coordinated. So
absolutely.